Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. Well, I bid you good morning, good evening, good night. And guys, you got to pay attention to this. This is a very big deal. Now, for people that are just tuning into my channel, kind of figuring out what's going on, I've been covering the housing crisis for many, many, many years. Okay, I'm talking about the last 9, 10 years now of the vast amounts of money laundering, the vast amounts of basically an economic takeover that's here to take us over. And Australia is being hit the hardest, one of the hit the hardest. It's almost really hard to gauge whether Australia or Canada is worse off right now. But if you're watching this in the United States, you better pay real close attention and stop watching this bullcrap impeachment crap that's going on and actually start looking at what's happening in the Commonwealth. Now, Australia right now is running their 5G up in Darwin and their camera systems, and they want to start running a social credit score just like the communist Chinese are. Now, here it is. It started with countries competing over wealthy investors. They don't care if they're communists, they don't care whatever the deal is. Just competing. So Canada wants more Chinese workers, students, and tourists, immigration minister says. A majority of Canadians are asleep at the wheel, but when you get a memo saying visas have been increasing to China for $500,000 a year, opening more visa offices could help Canada compete for Chinese workers, students, and lucrative tourist business. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem against Chinese people. It's the communist Chinese. And there's a lot of Vancouver Canadian patriots that are from Hong Kong that tell me, Mike, you are 100%. I'm on your team, Mike. Like we are with you on this, Mike. We understand what's going on here because we left. And a lot of mainland Chinese tell me the same thing. Mike, you keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about it. You know, it's all a big game. And exposing and discussing and having conversation is the way to kind of create awareness. And I think if awareness is there, it's important. Then it starts hinging into things like this. No Canadian hires for 4 years at Chinese-owned mine. So in BC, here in the province I am, about 1,000 miles north of me, there's a very big, one of our biggest mines we sold out to China. But Australia has it even a lot worse off, okay? They sold out a lot of their iron ore, a lot of the lithium-ion mines out in Perth. They sold out a majority of their country. Oh, one thing, you guys could look this up. Somebody emailed me back and told me the same thing. Like, Mike, are you serious? I couldn't believe it till I looked it up. A majority of elderly homes or elderly retirement homes. So if you're in Australia and you're in the media, you might want to kind of look into this because this is happening in Canada. It will be happening in the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. And let me tell you, retirement homes, old folks' homes, that were once government owned is actually owned by the Chinese Communist government. I did not know that. I'm not, and you know why this video won't be taken down? Because I ain't lying. Yeah, I ain't lying. So look that up in your country. See, finds out who owns. Is your old folks federally owned old folks homes owned by the federal government now, or is it owned now by a foreign entity or a corporate number? So here it is. This is what's happening today in Australia. Well, they're a day ahead of us. So Chinese dairy company buys Lion Dairy and drinks portfolio for $600 million. So this is it. It's an Australian nightmare, and it is Australian economic takeover. It is happening over the Commonwealth. So it is something you need to open your eyes over. Some of your favorite brands, including Big M and Dare Ice. Oh, I remember Dare Iced Coffee. Having you home after a whopping $600 million takeover of one of Australia's biggest dairy operations. The Chinese dairy company Mengniu, which earlier agreed to pay $1.5 billion to purchase the organic baby formula makers Belme's Australia, has gone a step further in taking over the Lion Dairy and Drinks portfolio. Yep, and you remember what happened, that big fiasco with the whole baby formula thing where a lot of Chinese military vessels pulled up into Australian ports. People got off the ships and went to all the local stores to buy up formula. That's how it works nowadays, guys. You don't have a sovereign country. You sell out your country. Now, Australia is just like Western United States and New York State and Vancouver, Toronto, the only, two cities in Canada, and the cities, like all the major Anglo-English speaking cities, their housing markets has been completely bought out. So they're completely bought out of the market. So that's something you need to keep in mind, in the back of your minds too. Completely bought out by foreign investing and billions of dollars of laundered money. It means there are new owners for brands including Dairy Farmers, Pura, Dairy Farmers Union, Big M, Vitasoy, as well as Yoplait. Oh, really? Yoplait? Yogurt and Daily Juice. Wow. 3 letters. 3 meanings, 1 word. Wow. What? Only what? Or what? Oh, what? Yeah. Lion, which has been on the market for more than 12 months, also owns a beer business that makes little creatures. James Squire and Tohoi's owner approached the Mengyu Dairy ahead of the sale, they said in a statement Monday. Oh, no. And you know what? I could bet you hand to God, just like a lot of Anglo countries, that if you decide to start making your own milk and just selling it on the side of the street, they're going to make it illegal. Yeah, they'll make that illegal. The full divestment of the dairy and drinks business will ensure it has an owner that is well placed to grow the business over long term. They don't need to grow a milk and dairy business because people already consume that in Australia. It's not like they're inventing some sort of bizarre computer that needs a leg up. These companies, if they're good at managing their money, have a decent, actually hire people. Instead of being diverse in their companies, actually hire people that qualify for the job. I don't care who gets the job, but as long as they qualify for them, and cut back on staff that's just pencil pushers and time wasters, they could actually make something of it. They could actually make this company work because people do consume dairy products in Australia, last I checked. While also accelerating Lion's pivot to becoming a leading global adult drink business, Lion Chief Executive Stuart Irvin said, the dairy and drinks component of the business employs around 2,300 people across Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and China. Mengyu Dairy Chief Executive Jeffrey Minfang said that the acquisition would benefit both Lion Dairy Drinks and Mengyu Dairy, as well as providing opportunities for Australian dairy farmers and fruit growers by opening up a significant channel to China. The company buys about $825 million. So they don't need a Chinese takeover to buy these milk companies when the Australian companies could just simply open a channel to China and make their money. Why would they? This way, Australian farmers could increase productivity, increase more dairy farms, so could New Zealand, and they could just go ahead and export to China. They don't need a Chinese government to come in and take over for them to sell back to China. It makes no sense. The company buys 825 million milk equivalent liters a year from around 280 Australian dairy farmers, as well as 50 million kilograms of fresh fruit, around 85 fruit growers. Mengyu said it currently buys milk from dairy processors in New Zealand, of course they do, and Europe. And once the acquisition clears, it would step up its purchases from Australian suppliers. The acquisition is subject to Australian Competition and Consumer Commission and Foreign Investment Review Board approvals. It is expected to clear the first half of 2020. China Mengyu Dairy said China Mengyu's acquisition and Bellamy's Australia received Foreign Investment Review Board approval on November 15th, will be voted by shareholders on December 5th. Now, please hear me out, guys, on this. Do you know why this is happening in full force, in full swing? It's because the sanctions against China. China knows it's been doing wrong. Whether the communist Chinese know they've been doing wrong. So what's the deal here? Well, here's the deal. Sanctions with the United States and trade wars aren't going to let up anytime soon. So what's China going to do? The next best thing? Economically take over Australia. It's strategically closer, and the people there are half asleep at the wheel also. So everybody's asleep right now. Well, why would they buy these dairy companies up when they basically could open trade routes to China directly, and New Zealand could open the trade routes to China, respectively, creating a mutual agreement between both parties and keeping the Australian proper in control of their companies, right? So when people 5, 6, even 7 years ago was saying, Mike, what's your hard on with Australia? Australia is the first domino to fall in the economic takeover / crash of the right now. The Australian proper is in total crash effect. They have to go to food banks. Homeowners need to go to food banks to get food because they can't afford to eat and pay their mortgage at the same time because they bought a $1.6 million teardown. And that's what's been happening across the Commonwealth. I have nothing against the Chinese culture. I've always loved the shrouded in mystery, the dragons. I always participated in Chinese New Year in my mall when I was in downtown Vancouver. I've always sponsored the dragon. I've always donated money to the cause for good luck. I've always been part of the community. My ex-girlfriend was Chinese. My ex-girlfriend before that was Chinese. It wasn't nothing about dividing within. It's not that. You know, I've always loved that Asian, Chinese, shrouded in mystery type of fog and that whole what lies beyond the land of China and Shanghai and the cities. I've always saw it like that, like an old 1930s movies. Like what is over there? What can you learn? The Great Wall, this, that. Believe me, I'm not. It's the whole communist economic takeover, and with China saber rattling all over the world now, and economically not doing well themselves, why would they invest in an Australian company knowing they're going to have to start bunkering down and getting prepared for this economic war that we're in right now? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would like to know. I love you guys very much. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. And guys, I'm on other channels that you guys might want to check out. Okay, guys, here it is on YouTube. I'm going to go to YouTube to show you where you could find them. You go to YouTube and you go to the top here. I'm on Patreon. I'm on BitChute. I'm on Brighton. Here's Brighton. I'm on Brighton. There are my videos there. I'm on BitTubers. BitTubers is very good too. Get on BitTubers. Look at this. Look at this. I only have 3 subscribers on BitTubers. Okay? 3. And look at all the views I'm getting. Hundreds of views. Look, 80 views, 90 views with 3 subscribers. For me to reach 80 views on YouTube, okay, I needed to have at least 1,600 to 3,000 subscribers to reach 80 because I'm severely throttled back. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I need to know what you guys think because this is a major deal. Thanks for watching, and God bless.